And why don't we just dig right in? I'd like to begin by talking about meeting with my boss. I've been here at Google for about 5 weeks now. My previous job was, actually, I was in New Jersey and my boss was in Maryland, 400 miles apart. And as you know, as system administrators, there can become roadblocks in your ability to get work done if you're not getting enough face time with your boss. So that was certainly my situation, and I was spending a lot of time instant messaging with her and phoning her and trying to get FaceTime with her now, or phone time with her. When I did the math, I figured out that I was spending about an hour a week playing phone tag trying to get a 15-minute meeting with her, and that's not very efficient. So what I did was I said, look, Mary, why don't we just every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9 a.m. East Coast time always talk on the phone? We'll just always schedule it. I can accumulate things to talk about. It'll be much better than playing phone tag. And whether she's in London or I'm traveling to Florida or wherever we are, we're just always going to have this meeting. And it worked very well and saved me approximately an hour per week. Now, what I hope I can do with this book, well, okay, so an hour a week. If I could find 7 more tips that save me an hour a week, that's 8 hours a week, which is a work day a week that I'm saving. And I hope that if, with the tips in this presentation, you can save that much. And in fact, 8 hours a week is 2.5 months, work months per year, which is a huge amount of time. So I'm not even going to do a top 10 list. If I could do, just 8, if of all the things I talked about, 8 of them are useful to the same extent as that other tip, that's getting an additional 2.5 months per year, which is pretty good. So that's the sales pitch part of the talk. Now the metadata part of the talk. So who am I? As our host said, I am Limoncelli. I've been a system administrator since I was born. In 1988. I worked at a lot of different companies such as Google, which you might have heard of, Cybernet, which you definitely haven't heard of, E for America, which you heard loudly, Limeta, Labs, okay, I don't have to read it all to you. I'd like to do a little poll of the group. How many people here are system administrators? Does everyone self-disclose? Okay, good. Who's from East Bay? Awesome. And South Bay? And women in the house? Men in the house? Okay. And what's your biggest time management problem?
Interruptions.
Interruptions. Excellent. What else?
Writing status reports.
Writing status reports. Okay. Finding the time to do that?
Yeah. One of them.
Sure. And accumulating the information put into the status report. It's like you're exhausted and it's Friday and it's like, I've been working like a dog and I can't remember what I did this week, right? Other time management problems.
Dealing with people in other time zones.
Dealing with people in other time zones. Sure. Other. Yes?
Getting people to agree to use your time management.
Oh, getting other people to agree to use, you mean the same tool that you use, or use my book? Okay, because I would, either is fine by me. Either is a correct answer, thank you. I've been talking about time management at conferences and user groups for about 4 years now, and the first thing someone shouted out is absolutely the number one thing that I hear. Interrupts. Users are constantly, interrupting me. How can I get any work done? I'm always so busy mopping the floor, I don't have time to shut off the faucet, right? My customers love me if I'm completely available to them every minute of the day. My boss decides my raises based on whether or not I get projects done, and these two things are total opposites, right? So, people have asked me why a book on time management just for system administrators. If you go to the self-help section of a bookstore, big self-help section, big shelf of time management books, there's a dozen different books. Why do system administrators need one that's just for us? Well, our problems are different. We have a higher degree of customer interruptions, and we're still expected to get our projects done. We also have very different solutions to us. Getting Things Done, which is a great book, I highly recommend it, isn't going to talk about tips on using ProcMem, because the readers of that book probably don't know regular expressions. But we're geeks. We use tools like opposable thumbs and stuff. And also, there's definitely a lack of mentoring. If you were a business major in college and your boss is a business major, then you could go to your boss for mentoring on time management, and it'll probably be pretty good advice. But if you're a system administrator and your boss is also a system administrator, then they're just as screwed up in their time management as you are, so you really can't get mentoring from your boss. Of course, if your boss is non-technical, then they don't understand what the hell you do, so again, you can't get mentoring from your boss. So we're really screwed, in either way. So that's why I wrote the book, but there's one other incredibly important reason why I wrote the book, and that is because I wanted an opportunity to include cartoons from the user-friendly comic strip, which hasn't been done yet, and that's really, the whole book is just an excuse to be able to include some of my favorite strips. He didn't realize how much of his cartoon has to do with time management, but we were able to find a strip per chapter, or at least O'Reilly was allowed me to budget that much. So what's inside the book? The book has 13 chapters. The first third is about the rudiments of time management, focused on dealing with these interruptions and routines. The middle section is on the cycle system, which is my technique for dealing with to-do lists, your calendar, your date book, and your long-term and life-term goals. It's somewhat similar to the Covey methodology or the Getting Things Done methodology, except it's slimmed down for system administrators. It's not a religion that you have to buy into and let it take over your life, though I do believe the more you use it, the more useful it becomes. The last third of the book deals with certain special issues like email management and stress management and documentation and automation. So let's talk about some basic principles of time management, which is the first third of the book. Fundamentally, the perfect time management system would be one cohesive system. One system, instead of having to, having my date book over there and my to-do list over here. The book, all of the techniques in the book work if you have a PDA, personal digital assistant, or a PAA, a personal analog assistant. This is my PAA. You can open it to the middle. So there's upsides and downsides. Obviously, a PDA can beep when it's time for a meeting, but this has a faster reboot time. So we talked about the pros and cons, but really either is fine. Any system is better than no system at all. I find most people that I talk to don't have the system. So second point, conserving brain power. We're smart people. We're system administrators. We're often the smartest person in the room. We're not usually hired for our good looks. The system really encourages you to try to not use your brain whenever possible. The brain is great for thinking and critical analysis, but if you try to remember the 20 things that you have to do, or which date is that appointment that you have, it's not going to do as good a job as a piece of paper that doesn't get lost because it's here. The average person can remember a list of 7 items easily, and I'm probably down to around 5. Everyone in this room, I'm sure, is up to around 10. But your to-do list tends to be a lot longer than that. And so we're going to keep everything written down and conserve our brains so that we're focused. Another way that we conserve our brain power is if you've ever been worried about something, and it's difficult to work because you keep thinking about this thing that you're worried about, if you write that thing down in your to-do list, it gets it out of your brain, because now your brain can relax, because it knows that you'll come back to it. The reason it's sticking in our brain is because worry is our brain's mechanism so that we don't forget something. We really, really want to remember this, this thing we're worrying about. Yes?
How do you deal with backups for the paper?
How do you deal with backups? The real core things are in the month at a glance page, and I can photocopy that if I'm about to leave for a trip or something. Also, my to-do list is sort of, in this, it's sort of a cache of what's in my request tracking database. So if I did lose it, so when this got stolen on December 26th of 3 months ago, it was not so tragic because I realized my to-do list was pretty short, and if my book is stolen once every 13 years, and I tell people, I'm sorry I didn't do your request because my book got stolen, we have a social mechanism for that. That's called the apology, and they accept that. And since it's only happened once in 13 years of using this book, oh, by the way, I got the book back. And my laptop and my iPod. It was a Christmas miracle, I swear. There was, I have no idea. My friends tell me that they think that the reason it was all returned to me is because actually it was snatched by the NSA who put a bug in it and returned it to me. I do not believe in conspiracy theories, so I just have to believe that he looked at my iPod and said, "This is all 70s crap," and just gave it back. Yes?
Question about your to-do list.
Yes.
Like a maximum, does it have an expiration date, or does things fall off the top?
Oh, that's a great question for about 5 slides from now. So definitely I will get to that. Okay, so we're also going to use routines. I talked about the routine I developed with my boss that saved me a lot of time, but lots and lots of things can turn into routines. And also we're going to use the same tools everywhere. I use this, or when I'm using my PDA, I use it for both my work life and my social life. Because the more practice I get at using it, the better I get at using it. And so I've sort of doubled the amount of practice I get by using my social life and my work life. It also means that if my boss comes to me and says, I really need you to work late tonight, I'm only looking in one place, or the place that I'd be looking anyway is going to tell me, sorry, I have a surprise party, I really can't make it, or whatever. Let's see. Unless, of course, you have a classified, job, and you don't want, to have to file a FOIA request to find out when the surprise party is.
Or a classified circle.
Yeah, the most important sync feature to me is to be able to make sure that certain items don't get synced into the corporate calendar. Because I wouldn't mind, like, Saturday, mow the lawn, accidentally getting in, but, okay, I'll wear the red dress. Okay, so, 2, let's maintain focus. A system administrator's life is really divided between building buildings and putting out fires. Like I said before, our boss often rates us whether or not we get our projects done. Our users love us if we're completely available to them. But focus is concentrated effort. If you can be completely focused when you're working on a project, you're much more likely to be productive than if you're constantly getting interruptions. So how many people have ever told their boss that, yes, I can get the two-hour project done sometime in the next 2 months, because that's how long it takes to get 2 hours of time. And it's actually more like you get 10 minutes, and then the next day you get another 10 minutes, but the first 5 minutes is spent figuring out where you left off. So really it takes 4 hours of work time to get this 2-hour project done, because we're so interrupted. And if we can be focused, we can improve things. So there are some focus problems that we bring on ourselves. Hate to blame the victim, but we have icons on our desk, instant messenger popping up, stock tickers, news tickers, who have new mail notifiers and games and and we multitask too much sometimes. If we get rid of these things, that's the start of getting focused. So when it's a designated project time for me, I shut down my instant message client. Even if I'm working in a group that is very focused on or does all their team interaction by instant message, I tell my teammates, well, this is my project time. I'm shutting down instant message. I have a phone. You can send smoke signals. You're in the office next door. If it's really an emergency, there's 15 ways of contacting me. I'm just shutting down one. I haven't run a you have new mail detector in ages. I found that been true is pretty much sufficient for me. I always have new mail, so why have a program that will tell me this? In fact, lately I've been setting my mail reader to only check for new mail every 3 hours, because that way I'm not, if I'm actively reading email, I'm going to click get new mail, and otherwise I only want to get new mail if I've totally forgotten, right? So reducing my own interrupts, big advantage. But no matter how good a job you do at that, users are still going to be knocking on your door, calling you up. So how do we deal with that? One technique is called the mutual interrupt shield. You make a deal with a coworker, preferably one that you share an office with, and you say, here's the deal. In the morning, I will answer the phone. If someone comes to the door, I will deal with them. Unless it's something that I completely don't know how to do and it's an emergency, I will handle all interrupts and let you get your projects done. And in the afternoon, we'll switch. You'll be my shield, and I'll get all my projects done. And this is called the mutual interruption shield. Works very well. If you think about a call center with Tier 1 support and Tier 2 support, you've essentially replicated that. It's just you're switching who's Tier 1, who's Tier 2 throughout the day. When I was at Bell Labs, we had 10 people on the sysadmin team. So we each picked an hour. From 8 a.m. for the next 10 hours, each person had 1 hour where they were the shield for the whole rest of the team. And everyone else was able to do a much better job of focusing on projects. And if your management won't support any kind of change like that, the least you can do is take a look at where your desk is and the path that people take when they're walking to your desk, and make sure that on the way to your desk they pass by 2 or 3 of your coworkers, so that they'll get interrupted. Don't tell them this, but came in Saturday, rearranged the furniture. You get more sunlight now. It's working. Okay, the ebb and flow of business. People have a natural, more productive time of the day. I am better with brain work around 2 o'clock. So I try to schedule things like that around 2 o'clock. I'm better with physical activity earlier in the morning. So if I have to mount a machine in the rack, I plan that in the morning, but the configuration I can do around 2 o'clock. And this changes as we grow older. When I was in college, it was 2 a.m. that was my productive hour. So you have to sort of assess yourself. I've also found that the first hour of the day I can be very productive because, often with flex time, other people aren't in. So in that first hour of the day, I can get a lot of work done. I used to spend that first hour checking email, but I can check email any time of the day. So now I use that first hour for project time. I scan my subject lines, make sure there's nothing really urgent. But if it was really urgent, I'd see smoke or someone would be running down the hallway. So really, I can come in, sit down, and just start working on a project for the first hour while everyone else is milling about at the coffee machine or whatever, or playing pool. I can get project work. I know I'm going really fast. I should be stopping for more questions. Don't let Jen's email totally scare you away from asking questions. Oh, because we're giving away books, right? We have 3 copies of the book to the 3 people who ask the best question throughout the night.
Relevant. best question. And if you're a BayLISA member, I have 2 copies for BayLISA members.
Oh, okay, so we're giving away 5. Got it. I hope more than 5 of you are appointed by let's see. What time do people tend to get into work here? Call out 9 o'clock? 10. 8 o'clock? Do the people come in at 8 o'clock feel like you get fewer interruptions during that first hour? Yes?
If I come in earlier than 9, I still don't get out of there until 7. So,
no matter what time you arrive, you still don't get out of there until 7.
Because there's always things happening, there's always things going on, and I always have to make sure everything's
Yeah, it can be very difficult to get into the. Once you get into the habit of staying late, it's hard to get out of that habit. Or if the company is the culture. Yes.
Part of that has to do with Melbourne side, UK and other areas that are, different time zones.
Sure. At my last job, I was managing a team of people that were in London. And I was on the East Coast. So I was waking up every day at around 6, and from my bed I would work their afternoon, and then I'd shower, have lunch, go into the office, and I'd work the New Jersey afternoon. So I had 2 afternoons every day.